Good morning, my people. Just gonna do a market review for yesterday. So this is 3 o'clock, UK time. Obviously that'll be 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Sorry, New York time. So let's just see what's happened on the chart. So clearly we've had this market structure break over here. And obviously within this market structure break, we have plenty lows that we have swept. So someone might have this as the 1, 2, 3. Watch price swept 4, 5. Someone else might have this as the SPS, where it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in terms of where you put your numbers, it is really subjective. Someone else might have the SPS as this. Let me double check. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the SPS, this is really subjective. Someone else might have it like this, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can you see how there's three different types of SPSs? But as long as we all see that, the same things, we're looking for, similar things to, help us get to take the trade higher. That's all that matters. So I'm just going to stick with this one. So I'll delete this one, and then I'll delete this one. So obviously we've had SPS here. We swept. We are below the SMA, but looks like this might be, just a sweep of certain lows, and hopefully price distributes higher. So ironically, I could draw up my fib from this low to this high. Obviously price is up to 618. You are in a little bit of drawdown, so depending on how you've entered, you could potentially be in this. I mean, you could always drag this fib like this, and then technically price hasn't set the 6 and 8, but it probably has swept the 50%. So you can see that price has actually swept the 50%. So it is in an area of discount where it's cheap enough for you to want to purchase and get along. So now that we've got all of this, we have to remember that I'm on my 5 minute chart. So I could still go down to my lower time frame and get a acute trade that's going to help me take this trade back higher. So when we go back down to the 1, technically we was making lower lows and lower highs, as you guys can see here. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is the last place that price came from, and I'd like for price to disrespect this high, and then hopefully this will be the flip with a further boss, which can help me get in, plus waiting for the SMA to flip also bullish. So we're gonna let price play out. So we now have that market structure shift. So now we'll see what happens. You even have SPS within here. That's your 1. That's your 2, 3. Price sweats 4, 5. We are now above the SMA. And then now look, we've closed above. So now we have a boss, or market structure break, as I like to call it now. So now let's see what happens. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get that trend line break. Oopsie. Okay, so we got that trend line break, and I mean, I don't know if we're gonna come back, but see what happens here. I mean, we don't. Obviously, there is a. I haven't showed you guys the other entry, but there is a way to get in without having to wait properly. Once if you let price play out, you get your winner right there. And then that's you done. And that's just you from that's you that this is technically an A-star setup. Why? Because if I go back to my 5 minute, obviously we had a bigger zone. So let me just get my checklist out, guys. So yeah, so look, we had a bigger. So in terms of checklist, market structure was bullish based on my higher time frame. It looks like we were in the pullback phase. Price tapped into something, stepped some stuff, and then now it looks like we were in a continuation phase. Price, you could say price was still bullish. It was just kind of hovering below. Obviously we tapped on to get a zone. We had SBS. I mean, we didn't have any fractals at the time. Obviously, we have probably plenty SNDRs plus origins. One second, my alarm's going off. Yeah. So as I was saying, we probably have a lot of SNDRs origins, you know, within this swing leg. In my lenses, we probably have that. Obviously, we had a trendline break on a lower time frame, which I'll get to in a minute. Obviously, SMA was bullish. It was an area of discount because remember, this we at least mitigated 50% of this bigger swing leg. We also tapped the 618 from this low to that high, and obviously we're probably in an area of support. So that's even something that I forgot. But if you look here, this is an area of support where it was resistance at one point. We closed above it. Look, we tapped it, and then look, price shoots up. And then when I go down to my 1 minute, instead of me just trying to get in straight away, I waited for a market structure shift. Once I got my market structure shift, does that mean I can enter? No, I still want to wait for price to be above the SMA, but also I just want to confirm that price is actually trying to head up and start to make higher highs and higher lows. Because as you guys already know, the first flip is never a confirmed flip. Sometimes it's just a fake out to stop out some people, and then price just carries on going the other way. So we were followed by a market structure break, and within that market structure break, we had SBS. We had that trendline break. In terms of entry, you guys don't really know this entry, but let's just say it was CSS. You could have also entered based off. You could also enter based off the 618, and if that's the case, then you're in very little drawdown, where it starts below there, and then you'll take profit. 2 is right there, and that's still a winning trade. I mean, if you was aiming for a 2R, you also get that right there. So this potentially was an A-star setup. I mean, I don't know if you had RSI at any given moment. I mean, you could say probably not the best RSI, but you could say this was an RSI as well. So you could also say that this was an RSI. So can you see how just by being patient and letting your lower time frame also flip bullish with, you know, all the variables that you want, this could have been a lovely trade for you. Yeah, I think this was an A-star, to be fair. It doesn't look amazing, but it was A-star in terms of everything that we want and everything that we look for. Yeah, I didn't even realize this was so clean. Wow. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through the gold trade in a minute. And then for gold, we did have this area, yeah, from this high to this low. Look, price to tap 50% at least. We have SBS where this is my 1, this is my 1, 2, 3, price feeds 4, 5, and then that's your entry back down. You might want to go down to the 1 minute, and if that's the case, price is below the SMA. so that's not even an issue. In terms of entry, probably be quite hard to get yourself an entry. Maybe 5 minute might be a little bit more easier, but you don't really get anything that's great, to be fair. I mean, you could always do that, and then that means your CSS is from here. Let's stop above there, and you just miss out on a one-to-one. Hence why this probably wasn't the best setup, or the best. It wasn't a good, what's it called, entry to potentially try to get yourself in, unless you entered off a limit from the 50%. And then there was a trade that I took in the night time with my young boy Diggle. Let me just try to find it. Okie doke. So this was the gold trade in Asia that I took. Obviously, we had this market structure break from here, and then yeah, within this market structure break, you have SBS. I kind of missed it. And obviously, price takes out this high, so we have another market structure break over here. And then when we let price play out, so we sweep these lows. So what I done is I just wanted to double check that we haven't mitigated the 50%. So when I put on my box, we clearly did not mitigate 50% until now. So technically, this was a liquidity point. This was a liquidity point where price would have swept a couple people's stops, and hopefully we start shooting up higher. Obviously SMA is bullish, so that works out in my favor. So obviously my SBS was 1, 2, 3, obviously 4, 5. And then I actually entered off 618 because it was easier. So the 618 to the T. That was my entry. And I aim for 2R. Let me just get the 2R one. Yeah, and I aim for 2R. And then we'll let price play out. Lovely reaction right there. And then that was my trade for gold. I didn't really try to get technical. Just saw the setup, traded the setup. Entered off the 618. Saw my SBS, price was bullish. We took out, some people's lows. If I go to the 1 minute, I mean, I could have probably refined my entry, but then can you see how we're below the SMA? So technically, I would have had to wait for a flip. Once I wait for a flip, I need price to be above the SMA. So if that's the case here, then I wouldn't have been able to capitalize on this winner that I just got. But let's just say you was basing it off the 1 minute. So this is the flip that we just had now, and this is also another flip there, but now we took out the lows, but we're now above the SMA. If you let price play out, okay, so now we've had another flip here. So can you see how on the 1 minute I don't have an opportunity to try to get in, but based off the 5 minute, there is an opportunity where I just got in from the 618 as price was bullish based off the SMA. We had my SBS. We tapped into an area of interest, so we had this last down up move. So we tapped into this area here. So that can be my AOI, my area of interest. And even that area is an area of support and resistance. Can you see that? Where I'm gonna just use the imbalance section, but where this area is, it what's it called? it was resistance at one point and then it turned to support at one point. So this was a good level where price wants to bounce. Then this could be a very good level where it bounces from, especially where it's also an area of interest, where we tapped 618, where we had a 4-5. You kind of had like the double bottom figure type of thing, where look down, and up. See that? So, like I always say, guys, see the setup, trade the setup. This was a very, very good, simplistic trade. I don't think we had RSI at the time. I mean, we did. So we even had RSI at the time. It wasn't the cleanest one, but we even had RSI. So that could have also given extra confidence that price wants to, continue higher. But that's it for me today, guys. Always remember that victory belongs to the most tenacious, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. Have a good day. Peace.